From stress to samadhi.
Toys R Us are over.
Toys R Us are over, Gods R Us are over.
That's
So, stress to samadhi.
Stress to samadhi.
If you really analyze the life, it seems very strange. The whole personality of a human being looks like it's nothing but stress and tension. If you really analyze, you take a cross-section of the whole world, the humanity, the civilization, is really filled with stress, 24/7. You ask anybody, they will say, yes, I have stress. If anybody once in a while you come across and is a stress-free person, it's like a rarity, day in, day out. In fact, when you don't have stress, there's something wrong with you.
They call them pagal, right?
You don't have a stress, you don't have a stress. Something's wrong with you.
People come and ask me, and the patients come and tell me, he says, Doc, I have this and this. But, who doesn't have stress?
Right.
That's okay, Doc, I'm fine.
Right.
They live with stress. They think that stress is a part of life.
It's normal, yeah.
And when that happens, when you realize that, there is something scary about it. The stress is our own creation. If you really look around, there is no stress. The birds sing, the sun comes out, the gentle breeze comes out and flows freely. The sun comes out, the moon comes out, the storms come and go. The life moves on. You don't see any stress anywhere. Everything is just happening. No matter how bad the storm could have been last year, but as soon as the spring comes out, the tree is ready to bloom with flowers everywhere. The petals, the softness, everything is there. The beauty that we thought would not come after being battered, the life is strong. Life keeps on flowing as if nothing happened yesterday. The stress just does not exist, and yet man has so much stress. Man is the only animal that somehow is defined as the animal with stress, basically. And that is a scary part. We were not born this way, and we don't have to be this way. When we get rid of the stress, we are in samadhi. Samadhi is a state where the stress does not exist, where you synchronize with the nature. And what are the causes? Let us try to analyze the stress, the reasons for stress. Once we understand the reasons, it may be easy to give it up. Right? So it's almost like a stone, big boulder sitting on our chest, 24/7. The moment we wake up till we go to bed at night, we have stress. Stress of this, stress of that, stress of analyzing, stress of creating, stress of performing, stress of this, stress of relationships, stress of
Wife,
whatever. Every single thing is a stress. And to the point that we even carry our stress in life. Our dreams are scary. Our dreams are frightful. We don't have peace even in dreams. Even at the time when we're supposed to relax. When the birds go to sleep at night, they don't care about tomorrow. They don't care about yesterday. They don't care about tomorrow. They just sleep. Everything is peaceful at night. We don't have peace. We carry our stress into the sleep even, right? To the point that we're looking for sleeping pills and anti-anxiety pills, and we need to relax, and there's something wrong. So the heavy load of something is sitting on our chest, and that something has to be removed. There is a story of a man who was sitting in a train which was moving at a very fast speed. Everyone who passed by him was looking at him a little bit of puzzle. What's wrong with him? And they were justified because the man was carrying his own bag in his own head. He was sitting there carrying his own load on his head. And everybody asked him, why are you doing this? He says, I believe in self-service. I'm very self-sufficient. Why should I not carry my own weight myself? I don't want to put an extra burden on the train. He's traveling in the train. The train is carrying everybody, including his load. But he would rather carry his own load.
Right.
So no wonder people were surprised. The load that he was carrying, it was easy to take off. Definitely looks silly. When the whole train is carrying the load anyway,
Right.
you would rather put it on the side and travel comfortably. The load that you can see is easy to take it off and put it away. But we are carrying the load on our mind. That is something we don't see it. Once we see it and we realize the silliness of carrying this load,
Very nicely said.
it's
Very
so easy.
nicely said.
Very nice.
The
Very
world,
nice.
the
Very nice.
world is traveling at even faster than a fastest train that is on the planet Earth.
Whether you carry load or
Whether
not,
you
it's
carry
going to go
load
the
or
same
not,
way.
the load is being carried by the universe. But we have chosen to carry our own load. And that's where our silliness comes into the picture. So once we realize the subtleness of the load that we don't see, that can be only perceived and clarified at the mind level. We have to go at a little subtle planes of life in the mind. Then it's easy for us to understand. Then we can put this load away and enjoy our journey. And that's why we are here, from stress to samadhi.
Too
So-
bad everybody
How
must.
can you do that though?
Well, that's
That's,
why
that's,
it's
that's
That's why
exactly.
we are here.
Now you come sit here. Come sit next to me.
Get closer.
Come
See
sit.
your brain.
Come sit next to me. Aajo, aajo, aajo.
So the main difference between children and the old people is that children don't have stress. They don't have load to carry. The older you get, the memories accumulate. The past events keep on building up on our mind. And as it keeps on building up, the more and more load we're carrying it. And it turns into a big boulder that we have to carry on our back, on our head, on our shoulders, all the time, 24/7. Versus the children have hardly lived their life. They hardly have any memories. They're living freely. They're enjoying every single moment. They have curiosity. They have amazement. They have excitement. They are looking forward to tomorrow. We, on the contrary, are carrying the burdens of the past. And to the point that the burden becomes so much, in fact, our whole life basically is defined by nothing but stress. And when the real death comes, it is the death of the stress. The human being is already dead long time ago. The real death that comes is the death of a material things with material thoughts and material stress and material boulder and material heaviness that we were carrying all along. We've been dead a long time ago. Where is the vibrance? Where is the vitality that we used to have as a kid? Where is the amazement? Where was the surprising things that we used to walk around with? It's gone. It's gone a long time ago. So ultimately, we reach to a point that we are defined by stress, basically. And when, to the point that when the life comes to an end, it becomes a relief. For many people.
Correct.
That, okay, at least the stress will be gone.
Yeah, yeah.
And unfortunately, the reality is that this was our doing. Nobody had to give us the stress. It was 100%
We are taking it.
our stress, our creation, and our decision to carry this stress. And it will be our decision to put this stress away. Nobody can do it for us. We were the culprits, and we are the savior. No one else can do it for us. And that's why we are here together. So, if people carry on their life, we may not go to an extreme to commit a suicide like some people do. For them, the stress becomes so heavy, the burden becomes so heavy. For them, the life has no escape. There is no future. We may not go to that extent, but definitely, if many people come to the deathbed, they're looking forward to death. That okay, at least death will relieve me of these miseries. Meanwhile, the enjoyment, the pleasurable moments that you could have has never been there.
So we are killing time.
We're just passing time thinking that someday that will come and we'll be happy. The happiness never comes. But the happiness is here, is right now, if we can understand the burden that we carry and put it away. Then we can travel in a fast-moving train, enjoying our journey, right? So, if you are carrying this load, and if you think that you want to be happy, think again. Happiness is never going to come. If you think you can juggle and carry all this load and still walk on a tightrope and balance yourself, it's never going to happen. If you think that thinking about all these past events in your life and then you're going to reach samadhi and all these higher states of existence and bliss, is never going to happen. It's a thing, an illusion. If you really want to reach to the state of enlightenment, reach to the samadhi, and enjoy every single moment of life, you have to bury the past. And the samadhi is something that has not happened. And past is something that has already happened. We are familiar with it. We have touched it. We have sensed it. We have smelled it. So for us, it's very real. Something that is not happened is not there. It is totally unknown territory. The enjoyment that we used to have as a kid. As a kid, we were born with dhyan. In fact, when we were born, the delivery took place. Our dhyan, samadhi was broken. That's why we cry. We were so happy in a perfect state of existence. Everything was taken care of. And we had nothing but to meditate. We were totally synchronized with our external environment, where we were surrounded by a comfortable environment, totally climate controlled, until we were thrown out. So, and even that samadhi state continues until all the external things, the attachments and everything starts building up, and our samadhi keeps getting broken, little by little, and inch by inch, second by second, and ultimately we reach to a state where we lose the samadhi completely. So samadhi is not something that is out of ordinary. It is totally known to us. The only thing we have to reverse back to that state. Every single person is born with samadhi.
Samadhi is a normal state.
Is a normal state. We just have to acquire our normal state back. What we have acquired is abnormal, and we have to realize that. So our efforts should be to go back to our normal state. So that is possible for every single person. Every single human being can reach to that state. So that's something we have to realize. Samadhi is our birthright. Right? So let us try to understand what heavy burden are we carrying. The first thing we have to realize is the past is our heaviest burden. That's what we're carrying on our head, shoulders, all the time, 24/7. We are burdened with the events that took place in the past. Every single event that took place, we are attached to it, positive or negative, and we're carrying with it all the time, right? So whatever is gone is gone. We can't really change it. And yet, we keep on carrying it, thinking that something is still there. The moment that is gone is gone. There is no life in it. It's a dead moment. We have captured, like a camera, we have took the picture of it at the moment when it was happening, like a hard drive, and we're storing it, and we're bringing it again and again into the present. Good morning. So, just like you draw a line on the surface of a water, for however shortest time it lasts, it goes. And the new lines are going to be drawn. The new waves are going to be coming up on the ocean surface. There is a constant movement. But we hold on to the lakir that we had drawn, that I like that. And yet we keep on putting it. Only the mind can do that for us. The mind keeps on recreating those events. Whether we like it or not, whether we want it or not, it is our habit.
Why do we do that though?
That's the thing. That's what we have to analyze. That is the silliness. And that's why we have to understand. We have to ask ourselves, why do we do that? It is nonsense. It is silly. That's why we have to give it up. So once we understand that it is silly to carry this load on your head while you're traveling, that's why, and there are no efforts, there are no methods to understand this. You have to realize that. You have to understand this stupidity or this flimsiness of such an effort that we're doing is totally unnecessary. Once we realize, things can change.
It has to come from yourself.
Exactly. No one can do it for you. That understanding has to take place in your own mind. And once you do that, you will laugh at it. You say, what's the point? And there are no simple methods. Say, okay, do this 50 times, write it down 50 times, this is the method. That's all baloney. Nothing will happen until you do it yourself. Yes?
Till you realize, you'll keep doing the same thing.
Exactly. We are rut. We are getting to the
I
rut.
think meditation helps in that.
Of course, but that's one of the methods. But what you do in meditation is also up to you.
Okay.
People could meditate for years, and nothing may happen.
You
But
can be
even in
meditating
meditation,
and
what you
thinking
do,
about
When I
past.
meditation also you have to learn.
right? People could be meditating on a lot of things. You could meditate on dollar bills.
But that helps you, that
True,
to adapt
it's
to
a method. But meditation can be so different from a person to person. In 15 minutes time that you and I may sit down,
Right,
you may have reached into samadhi, I may be stuck
right,
on my past memories again.
right.
Who knows? So anything. So memory is something that's going to interfere. The meditation is a tool. It's just a tool. It's a method. But ultimately, the internal cleansing, understanding has to happen at our deeper level.
I think one reason could be that people tend to accentuate the past, either glorify it or make it more painful than it was.
True.
So like whatever, if you had a good experience, you try to glorify, my college days were so great.
Right.
Or if you had some fight with somebody, you said, it was so terrible. It really wasn't really that terrible. The result
you
was gone.
intensified.
But you're
Right.
that's why that's the reason you hold on to your past.
True.
One of the reasons.
You try to use the past events to feel good today.
Yeah.
You might have been an ex-minister or ex-president.
Right.
Oh, I used to be like this.
Right.
So that, so that you feel good at today. Or if you had really bad experience, compared to that, at least I'm better off today.
Right.
So
All
again,
the
to
time.
feel good, you're using the past.
Past, yeah.
Yes.
That can happen also by listening to the experience of the others too, the way you are giving us the reasons.
True.
No,
Right,
not
of
the-
course.
if it doesn't
That's
come
what
from
satsang is
yourself,
all about.
Satsang,
yes.
We exchange our ideas,
Yes.
we learn something from it,
It doesn't have to come
and then,
totally from
but
inside,
it's a
listening
seed
to-
that you put it in and then let it sprout, right? So, load of this past has become a big boulder on our chest and on our head, and that's why we cannot travel freely in the fast-moving universe. Before we were born, things were happening. While you are here, things are happening. After you're gone, the things will still happen. So there is a tremendous momentum that's going on continuously. And in that momentum, which is set up by some unknown force, instead of realizing that unknown force operating, we think that we are everything. And that's why we have to have our own method. And that's why we are stuck into this, right? So, one day, a man, this is a famous example we have talked about, right? So he comes to Buddha, and he had some arguments and some problems with his teachings. He spitted on him. We talked about it. So all Buddha had to do was wipe it off with his shawl, and he says, do you have anything else to say? Anand, his cousin, was there. He got very angry. Anand was Kshatriya. He says, I'm going to teach him a lesson. How can he spit at you? So Buddha says, I have no problem. He has spitted at me. Why do you have any problem? All the guy is trying to say something. He's trying to express something, but his words are falling short. So action takes over. Language is never powerful enough to express the world of emotions. When you are 100%, involved in your bhav and some kind of expression that you want to find for your inside bhav, the language always falls short. A mother might see a son after many years, suddenly starts crying. The action speaks louder than the words. If you have to write a big essay, you may write 10,000 pages. It still will not explain the same emotion. So if you really love someone, or you go to your guru and if you really get ecstatic and you bow down, or if you meet your friend who you had missed for a long time, you hug. So all these actions are the expressions of your inside state, of emotional state, the bhav. So Buddha said that all he's trying to do is express his emotions. He has a lot of things to say, but he just cannot say everything. So he spitted at me. That's just a way of expressing. So I'm asking him, do you have anything else to say? And things like this is a possible scenario. Because the thing is that Buddha, imagine yourself, put yourself in the shoes of that man. You standing in front of Buddha itself is your own insult. Buddha had a tremendous personality. He is in a state of divinity. Just standing him next to you makes you feel so small. Because on one hand, he has uninterrupted flow of karuna, love, compassion, friendship, flowing. And here you are going into him with all your crodh and anger and hatred and greed and all the dirt. You feel yourself so small, right? And if you cannot cope up with that, the discrepancy between your own personality and such a great personality standing right next to you, it may turn into a frustration and you may end up spitting. And you do that, and all he has to say in exchange, do you have anything else to say? How would you feel? So small, so tiny, right? So that's what happened.